Hi there, my name is Tim Michael. I'm the owner of Knife Maker Training, and welcome to our video here on YouTube as well as knifemakertraining.com. One of our free series where we take you on a walkthrough of Ed's complete shop. This is over an hour-long video, so we're going to cut it down to a few pieces for you, and I hope that you enjoy them. If you see it get cut off in a weird spot, I apologize. It's probably the best I could find in the amount of time that I want to give you per video. I don't want to overload you with a full 1 hour long video. Would like to cut it into pieces so that way you can enjoy learning a little bit about each part of Ed's shops. I hope that you enjoy this, and just to let you know, Ed Caffrey is an ABS mastersmith, and he is incredibly gifted with many years of experience in the industry. He's been selling knives for many years and is definitely desired by many other people interested in getting his training. He's had training for a long time that he does at his shop, but we've opened up something new with knifemakertraining.com where you can go there and now you can buy his guides online as well as some of the tools that he is selling that would definitely come in handy for you. You can check all that out at knifemakertraining.com. We're going to get you into the video. I hope that you enjoy it. Thank you so much for watching.
This particular area, a little bit messy, but obviously computer area. Some folks would ask me why I have a computer here. Honestly, at one time, I only had a computer in the house, and I just got sick and tired of running in when I had to order things or find part numbers or things like that. And it's actually pretty darn convenient. Over here, this is where I do all of my carving and texturing that you see on my knife handles and on my sheaths. A couple of different tools, little El Cheapo air grinder from Harbor Freight. When I get into detail, this is actually a GRS 850A tool, little air, again, air with 1/16 inch shank bits. Magnifier, again, my eyes are getting old. And then a little extra light, plus all the tooling there. This is all just storage. Computer down below along with my printer. And have I forgotten anything? I guess if you folks are looking at this video, you know, and the shop interests you, if you see something that I didn't explain well or you have questions about, feel free to contact us at either Knife Maker Training or look me up, email, or even give me a phone call. From here, we're going to take you out to the Blacksmith Shop and we'll do a complete tour through the Blacksmith Shop also. Welcome to my world. So, we're just going to take you on a quick tour of the hot shop. Again, if I don't cover something that you might want to know more about, make sure you contact us, let us know. I'm always happy to answer questions. We'll just start out right where we're at. This is my MIG welder. It's an old, heavy, big beast, but it's actually a very good welder. This particular one came out of a high school in Yakima, Washington. Many thanks to Kelly Couples, by the way. Top of that, my little portable 110 welder. Storage cabinets. This is what I call my welding bench / table. Big massive vise for welding on or doing whatever I need to do here. Of course, you can see a blacksmith shop is never totally in order. So there's all kinds of odds and ends things here, there, and the other. Post vise. Very important if you're forging / blacksmithing or knife bladesmithing. Simply because these vices were meant to be hammered on. So these vices are much stronger, much more durable than the large vise you saw on the bench. Most of the vices that you're finding nowadays that are, I guess, modern generation, they are not intended to be hammered on because they are made out of cast. If you start hammering on a cast vise, don't be surprised if chunks start blowing out. These were all usually forged steel, and just much more durable, much better quality overall. Hanging up, I've got different grinding wheels and things like that. That reminds me, I'll take you folks to my grinding area when we get done inside. This is a real old tool. It's called a Beverly shear. It's actually meant for cutting steel or mild steel. This particular one is rated to cut up to 1/8 inch thick mild steel. I use this primarily when I'm cutting nickel slabs and things like that to mix in with pin Damascus or those sort of things. This is pretty much an antique piece. This is an old treadle hammer. I actually made this, a friend and I built 2 of them together, and I think it's been probably 20 years ago when we built these. It's essentially nothing more than a foot-powered power hammer. For me, it's actually on the occasions when I make roses, leaves, things like that. I use it for texturing, veining, things like that. Next up, my whiteboard. This gets used a lot during teaching scenarios when I have students in the shop. You can see leftovers from my last class. My resume. This is actually something I'm really proud of. Ever since I started teaching knife making and bladesmithing, these are students that have gone through the classes. I've got folks from Nova Scotia, Canada, Australia, and all over the United States. So that's kind of my resume of knife making. Next up, one of my favorite tools. This is probably the most expensive tool I've ever purchased, but it's also the best money I've ever spent. This is a Saymac 110-pound air hammer. You know, a lot of guys would look at the tools that I've got in this blacksmithing shop and ask, well, you know, I can't afford that or I can't do that. It took me a long time to save up money for this stuff, but in my younger days, I realized one of these days I was going to get old. And quite frankly, even now at going on 54 years old or 55 years old, I can't swing that hammer for 8 or 10 hours a day like I could when I was 25 or 30. So my idea is I want to be doing this as long as God's going to leave me on this earth. And so things like this are a necessity as you get older. Maybe not a necessity, but sure makes life a whole lot better than waking up hurting. Moving along, these are all fullers and dies for the air hammer. I actually have on my flat dies, I have sockets that all those fit in, so I can utilize the rounds, the textures, the cutters, things like that. A lot of guys will see this and wonder what it is. This is actually the controls, and we'll get to it, I'll show it to you later, for Orange Crush, which is my hydraulic press. I literally don't have enough electricity in this shop to run Orange Crush electrically, so it runs off of a 4-cylinder diesel Kubota engine with the lines to the press running around the outside of the shop and through the wall. This is just my glow plug switch, my start switch, and then my kill switch for the press power supply. Moving along, forges. Probably for the most detailed input of those, you can look at our previous video about my take on forges, where I explain more about those. I basically have, there's 3 forges here. The one that's covered with bricks is one that I use only on special occasions. It's a very short, wide one for doing sheet metal, that sort of thing. This is the forge that I use for standard forging. This is the welding forge that you can look on our blog fairly soon. I'm in the process of actually putting up the work in progress on how this forge, the entire build on this forge. So look for that on our blog on Knife Maker Training.